Okay, my lovelies, we're about to make espresso creme brulee. And like so many Euro-American desserts, that involves making a custard. The thing about different custards is it's all about ratio. So in this instance, we're doing 1.5 cup of heavy cream. And we're gonna do 1/3 cup of milk. And we're gonna get that scalded, okay, in the pan. By scalding, it's not a dangerous thing. It's just when you bring something up to a boil, just shy of a boil, so just bubbling. I think I need to get my whisk and I need my spatula, because cream, it's expensive here and you gotta use it. Okay, the oven is now come to temperature to 200 Fahrenheit. And I have a little, I have espresso powder from the Hoosier State, and which I love and adore. And that's not instant espresso, it's dehydrated espresso. So I'm going to make, I don't know, maybe 1/4 cup of that, and turn that stove on, get that going. The one I did last week, I put the powder in the cream, and I added an extra egg, and I didn't need the water. So I'm gonna I want a stronger flavor. So I've got my espresso powder, and I got some water here that's been boiled. I have to double check what I want. I want 1/2 cup. Okay, so that's a little more than 1/2 cup. And I gotta whisk that together. If you have a little more, it just means you have to cook it down a little more, and I'm pouring that into my milk and cream mixture. Look at the color. If you're not a coffee fan, this isn't for you, but you can do this with no coffee, or you could do it with, lemon verbena. I couldn't find any lemon verbena. That was also one of the things I wanted to try. You just get some fresh, or even from a tisane, and you would do the same thing with the verbena, the liquid from the steeped verbena, and then you would have something quite extraordinary. And I'll do that also. So now I need to put in 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and I have real vanilla extract, lots of it, from my friends at the gourmet store. But I also like to see a little bit of the seeds in this. So I'm using this delicious vanilla bean paste. It's not cheap, but I don't want to be cheap. Like I said, I made this for my friends in Montreal. Big dinner with old and new friends, and it was really fun. So I didn't want to skip on that. So I'm emulating that now. And so we've got vanilla, we've got espresso, and this needs to come, I'm going to heat it up. And at that point, we're going to do the temper And we're going to, oh, and I want to wash out my half cup here, my cup measuring, because we're going to need that. We're going to need that for pouring into my creme brulee ramekins. Okay, so these are restaurant style. I bought them at the restaurant wholesaler Obu near the Atwater Market. And but I also use these. Totally acceptable. And if I have extra, I'll be using these. I have a bunch of those. And the fun part about these is they can be covered in the fridge, you know. So that's fun. I also use these for herbs, salts, all kinds of accompaniments. So when this comes to a boil, just shy of a boil with bubbles, I'll get right back to you. Okay. Okay, it's happening. I see a little bit of bubbling. It's not quite enough. You need to have it cuit, French for cooked. I have 7 egg yolks. It's kind of one of the eggier custards, but it will not be tough if you do it properly. Let's get this to a simmer again so you can see what we do. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. There. See that? It's coming to a simmer. It's just bubbling. I kind of don't mind, as long as it doesn't catch on the bottom. Ooh, I did well with the espresso this time. As soon as it starts to do that, we're okay. Turn off the heat. And then we have to do the tempering. So whisk the eggs. Other forms of custard, you've noticed that you whisk the eggs and the sugar together, but not this one. So we're gonna strain it, not strain it, but just dribble. Remember, the egg yolks are cold, so they shouldn't turn into, they should just get warm. They shouldn't turn into scrambled eggs. And just do a little bit more. And then pour it back in, stirring. And then we're gonna cook it some more. So that smells good. I'm gonna get it all. Okay. I don't see any scrambled egg. That means success. And then we're just gonna cook it a little more. And, oh, I turned the stove off. Just cook it a bit more. It doesn't have to come, we're not making crème pâtissière. Well, this would totally make it if you cooked it to the end. And, but we're going to bake it in a bain-marie, a Mary's bath. Okay, so let me just check. I think I might have too much for these. So I'm gonna get some of those. So basically you don't need to cook this because it's gonna bake. Yeah, and I'm gonna pour this. This needs to cool down. So pouring it into, oh, there's some water in there with some espresso. Not a big deal. So we're just gonna pour that in here. There's a bit extra. And we're gonna let it cool down. Then we're gonna pour in the ramekins. I gotta get more because I'm making more, obviously more than 6, because these are kind of restaurant style. They don't want you to eat too much. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so it doesn't have to be super cold. we're just gonna pour these close to the top. And maybe I have enough. Maybe I don't have too much liquid. Do that. Maybe I have just the right amount. But it smells gorgeous if you like coffee. And I love coffee ice cream. That's really a win for me. Okay, so we're gonna pour here. We're gonna pour here. And these can be taller because they're not as wide. And that kind of works out. Okay, that's quite perfect. And then, this is the cool thing. We've got to turn on our water thing. What is the water thing? The tea kettle, the water thing. So anyway, that water's coming to a boil. We're going to put the water's for the bain-marie because these are going to cook for 2 hours, low and slow at 200 Fahrenheit. And the reason for that is because you don't want rubber and you don't want burning, but basically you don't want rubber. And if you cook them high, they'll cook, but they'll be like rubber. So I hear that the kettle's coming to a boil, which means I can put these in. And I'm gonna pour in enough water into the tray, not spilling, just into the tray to go halfway up the earthenware bases and not to spill out. So that looks good. Luckily my floor is even, or at least the oven is even. And that's it. They're gonna cook for 2 hours and we'll see what happens. Okay, my peeps, I'm here to finish the crème brûlée, espresso crème brûlée. The thing is, I chilled them. They're meant to be chilled before you do the brûlée, but I need, because I put a lid on the container, there was some condensation. So I need to, I think it might not matter, but I want to get rid of the condensation. It just looks like espresso juice. Anyway, I want to describe how one might do this. You could use regular granulated sugar. You could use natural cane sugar, as long as they're granulated and crystalline, or crystalline, tomato. And I used natural cane sugar, just what you would do with baking last time. It was great. So we're going to go back to the turbinado, and you gotta cover the top. And it should be evenly covered around the sides. All right, so let's do that. Some of that liquid on top, which came from, because I covered these and didn't let, when they were really still quite warm, so condensation occurred. This should not pose a problem. Okay, so we're just gonna do 3 out of the 8 I have. Normally I would do this after dinner. I'd have these in the fridge, nice and cool and creamy, and then do the hot brûlée in front of the guests so that they can participate. They could even try it like we did in Montreal last week. And, and you're meant to serve it right away. So I leave the bruleeing part to the end of the dinner, but I'm showing you this at the beginning of the dinner for the purposes of education. So now I need my torch. Hold on. I use an industrial torch. I don't find that those kitchen torches work very well. In fact, all they do is blow the sugar off. They do it on TV all the time, and I have a couple of them, and none of them worked. And I was catering with one of those things, and it just simply would not melt the white sugar. Maybe that's because of the type of sugar. So basically, we're just gonna melt this into a caramel. And the other thing about using, and of course it has a safety on it, so it goes out if you're on an angle too much, if you go above 180 degrees. So basically we want caramelization. Oh, so it's gonna, it didn't do that to me the other night. So I guess I have to use my, be careful. That shut-off valve is for safety reasons. You don't want an upside-down torch. However, I wanted to get back to the point of using the natural sugar and the turbinado. It has just enough of that molasses in that white sugar doesn't to produce caramel, more of a caramel flavor. So we're just gonna continue doing this, and if there's black spots, that's okay. That's just part of the look of it, kind of like those broiled. Now I want to get it even, so just gonna keep going, and you're probably gonna have to see it all. Just know that we want it to look like that. And that's going to harden quickly because the underlying cream mixture, the custard, is quite cold. So I'm going to turn it around and don't let any of those crystals just sit there. Try to get all of them, okay? And then you'll have a beautiful crème brûlée. These are dark. They're dark because of the espresso, and they're dark because of the sugar. I just want to get all of this nicely done. Okay. And then I'll come back and crack one open with you. Okay, so I'll finish that in a second and show you. I gotta get that turned off. Okay, that's it for now. All right, that took about 30 seconds to finish the last one. I don't know if you can hear with the noise, but listen to this. That's a hard crust. I want to see if you can get closer and maybe hear it. The air conditioning's on. That's how you know it's good. So we're going to dive in, and there's going to be that creamy goodness, espresso goodness. My hand's shaking because I can't do two things at once. Anyway, I'm going to try it. Wow. Okay, it's like a cappuccino with caramel crust. Love it.